Alright, so project I like to do is get both the speedo and the tach working. The tach hasn't worked since the swap because I haven't converted it, so that was pretty simple. I know how to fix it. And then the speedo was working and it stopped working, so that we need to figure out. So this car is a 91. So because of that, it has a mechanical speedo. So it's got a cable-driven speedometer. So that runs from behind the tach, or behind the speedo, all the way back into the transmission. So I should be able to reach down to the top of the transmission and pull the cable, unhook it from here. Come on. And we've got our cable. So beautiful. Seems like it's kind of kinked, barely hanging on, but yeah, we can test this to see if it works really quick. Okay, so you need to get a drill, and I've got like 1.5 arms right now because I'm recovering from busted collarbone, but I'm sure I can kind of set this up. Just need to attach the drill. Come on, arm. I don't have much grip in my hand right now. So yeah, and get that tight on the cable, and then you actually need to put it in reverse, so left. And when you spin this left, if everything is good with the cable, then the speedo should move. So just look for the speedo. Sweet. Quick 90 miles an hour. All right, so cable is still good. That means, come on, that there's an issue with the sending unit into the transmission. So we got to pull that out and figure out what's going on there. Okay, now that brings us to the speedo. So this is the mechanical speedometer disassembled, and figured out why it wasn't working. So that's good. The bad is that I need to order parts. The good, or semi-good, is that some parts are available, but some parts aren't. So in the end, I am going to be able to get this fixed, which is good. So basically, we'll go through what happened. So this part sticks into the transmission. This gear is inside here, and this connects to the diff with the gear on it, so it'll spin, and that helps, or that's what reads the speed. The end of this goes up against this piece, which fits on here, and they're linked by this key. And then it spins this part, which goes to the cable, which reads to the cluster. So the issue was, it pretty much started with this piece. The previous owner had broke this tab off of here, or it was on one of these ways, probably that way, and JB welded it, and the JB weld failed. So what that did is allowed this to move around a bit, and with this moving around on this piece, it ended up causing probably a bunch of heat from rubbing, and this piece broke off. So this was just hanging out inside here and here, which usually drives the key, but it couldn't anymore since it broke, and then it ended up just like rounding off this end of the key. So Need a new one of these. Need a new key. Those can be purchased. I talked to Toyota today and they said that there were 17 left of those and then 16 left of those. So now we're down to 16 left of those and 15 left of those. This piece is no longer able to be found, so I'm gonna have to weld it. Okay, so ended up pulling out the tachometer, and with Mark from Frankenstein Motorworks help, I bought his little resistor and capacitor kit and followed his YouTube video on that. So I ended up just replacing the capacitors. Mine weren't bad, but I figure if I'm in here, you know, might as well. So took those out, replaced those two capacitors in there, and then for the V6 added that resistor to the input signal, and then this resistor to the tach signal, I believe. So now it should be able to read the input from a modern ECU, and then it should also be converted to V6, because that was the only reason why it didn't work before. It worked prior to doing the V6 swap, so just a couple things to get it running. Alright, so going to test out the cluster, see if it works. Definitely more difficult getting in here with the seat. There we go. Alright, got that plugged in. In order to have the lights work, this needs to be plugged in. And I also want to check the dimmer, but I don't want to assemble everything in case the tack is no good. Okay, we're in. Kind of a hodgepodge, but let's see here. Oops. Sweet. We've got light. And it dims. Nice. Alright, now let's see if this tack works. It's gonna be loud because my exhaust isn't hooked up. I have to use my left hand because my right hand doesn't really work that great. So let's see. Sweet. We're alive. Ew. Alright, so this is phase 1 of Operation bringing sexy back. Trying to make the front end look nice again. It is just primered. Sanded it with 800 grit, and hopefully it looks okay. Ended up picking up some paint, got it to the correct code from just our local paint supplier, and gonna give it a go. I just did the first coat, went a little light just to make sure that it stuck on there, and get a thicker coat on the next 2 passes. But I forgot to get a tack cloth, so I'm gonna go do that now while I wait. Tacked it down, got a much nicer, thicker second coat. So things are starting to look good. Just lay down the 3rd coat. I think I'm gonna need to do one more with the fresh can but it's starting to look decent. Could be worse. Could be better, but could be worse. Final coat. Looking shiny. Still got a buff and stuff, but not bad. Pretty stoked. All right, so this is where we ended up. This piece, pretty kind of ugly. Ended up having my buddy weld this tab back on, but this cast aluminum is just horrible, and somebody had already tried to fix this, and it was just like, it just really didn't weld very well. So I threw in a little bit of extra JB, because why the hell not? And we'll see if it works. I mean, theoretically it should. It's not pretty, but you can't get this piece anymore. So kind of got to try to run with it, or if this fails, then I'm kind of just stuck with trying to run a electronic speedo sensor. And literally realizing now that that O-ring is gone. Shit, I left that at my buddy's house. Hopefully I have something that'll work. I got a stack of random O-rings, so we'll see. But I got parts. So I got the little stupid key that goes in. And I got the replacement gear, which was an issue because this other end had broken off where the key goes in. So comes with a fresh O-ring for this piece, not the O-ring that I'm realizing I'm missing now. So the O-ring goes around here, and then the new clip that holds the gear in to here, and yeah, put that together. Alright, so I found myself an O-ring to go around here, and actually I gotta replace this O-ring here now. Got this piece cleaned up. So old one, new one. Sweet. And I was gonna test fit this, but it was a little dry. So let's get a little bit of transmission fluid. To use lube, been using a lightweight shockproof. Had a little bit of a grind in going into 5th gear, shifting hard on the track, and put that stuff in, and no more grind. So it definitely works pretty good. Tight fit with that O-ring that I put on there, but that's probably a good thing. So sweet. Let's put this gear in. I'm actually gonna put some gear oil on that too. So that sits in there. This clip goes on, I believe, like so. Yeah, fat end goes in. Now it can't fall out. And the key goes in here. And then the other end needs to line up. Actually, I need to use some more gear oil in here so we can get that O-ring in. before. This was like coming apart, and I think that's why it exploded. This piece just backed out of here. So having a tight fit is probably not the worst thing in the world. There we go. It's like, come on. So now, let's see. And it spins. Nice. So now the hope is that this piece still will fit on the transmission. Hopefully. All right, so I don't have an exhaust. So it's gonna be loud. It's kind of late, but I really want to check and make sure the speedo is working. So we're just going to do a quick startup. LEDs look nice. All right, let's see. We're in neutral.